Previously on I.C.T Clinic.
Hello there. Welcome to I.C.T Clinic. Welcome back to I.C.T Clinic, episode 3, Constituents of a Computer, part 2. In the last episode, we discussed constituents of a computer, part 1. And that time we identified what a constituent is as a component part of something or a combination of things that make up a particular object. So when we relate it to computer, it means we are talking about features or components of a computer. We also discussed the two fundamental constituents of a computer, that is the hardware and software. And in that second episode, we focused solely on computer hardware. So today we are taking the second fundamental constituent of a computer, which is the computer software. When you talk about a computer software, it is a program or set of instructions that enables a computer to perform specific tasks. It can also be seen as a set of instructions or programs that are used to execute any particular task. There is this common definition people give computer software as the part of the computer that you cannot see and touch. That is often the case, that you cannot touch it, but you can communicate with it with the graphical user interface. When you communicate with the computer through the graphical user interface, then you can still say that you are using the computer software. As this class progresses, we are going to know what a graphical user interface is. Then classification. When we classify computer software, we have two classifications. We have the system software and the application software. Although you might find it in other places having other types or other categories or classifications of computer software, but I have categorized it into system and application software. When you talk about a system software, it is a type of computer software that is designed for running the computer hardware parts and the application program. This platform is provided to computer system so that other programs can execute, which means that without the system software, other programs cannot work effectively. The system software is like a middle layer between the user applications and the computer hardware. Let me give it this way. You say any software that has been put there by the manufacturer of your computer and you cannot uninstall is a system software. Look at your phone, your smartphones, look at your computers, go to your control panel where you want to uninstall. If there's a particular software that is not visible there for uninstallation and you can use on your computer, it is a system software. So if you cannot uninstall a particular software, not because of virus, because sometimes virus make it impossible to uninstall a software. This time I'm not talking about virus, I'm talking about the fact that the manufacturer of that computer did not enable uninstallation facility for that particular software. It is a system software. It is very essential. It means that if you are able to remove that software, a lot of things will be disrupted on that computer. So you cannot install a you cannot uninstall a system software. We have examples. Also, we have several examples, but I've categorized this example of system software into two. The first one is the operating system. The second one is the device drivers. When you talk about operating system, you are talking about a software that manages all other programs installed on the computer. It is the intermediary between the computer user and the computer. We have examples like Windows operating system by Microsoft Corporation. We have Macintosh OS by Apple Incorporation. We have Linux, we have Unix, we have Android for mobile phones, we have iOS for Apple phones, we have disk operating system, also known as DOS, and we have quite a few. Then this operating system is categorized into two also. We have the graphical user interface. Example of operating systems using graphical user interface is Windows operating system, and we have command line interface. When you talk about graphical user interface, this type of operating system, they make use of graphics, pictures, or icons to give command to the computer. For example, look at my screen now. You see this cursor moving, it's like an arrow that I can use to point and select objects. It means that Windows operating system is a GUI operating system. You see, any operating system that allows you to communicate with the use of icons or pictures that you can click on is a GUI operating system. Whereas when you talk about command line interface operating system, they use commands, codes, command prompts. So you will not see any picture, you will just see a black screen with a cursor blinking for you to type. You communicate with that operating system with the use of codes. That is the difference between a graphical user interface and a command line interface. Example of a command line interface is disk operating system that we also known as DOS. Those are the two categories of operating system that we have. Then we have device drivers. When you talk about device drivers, they are used to enable or drive new hardware that we have connected to a computer. Why do we need to drive hardware? Why do we need device drivers? You see, sometimes when you plug a new hardware to computer, the computer will not be able to load it or run it because the driver that will allow that hardware to work is not available. The software that will allow that hardware to work is not available. For example, if you plug a flash drive now, the computer will tell you installing. It is because the driver or the software to enable that flash drive has been embedded in the operating system of that computer. But let's say this new device was just developed and the driver is not part of the operating system. That's why the manufacturer of that device will now put a small software for you to install. That small software is known as a device driver. Device driver often come with devices such as printers, such as game pads, and any other attachments or hardware device that you need to use on your computer. So device drivers are very, very essential, and they are also seen as system softwares because they enable hardware and they are very important for your new hardware to work effectively. Then we have application software. When you talk about application software, it is a type of computer software that we have designed to enhance the capabilities of the computer. You see, application software is just like a peripheral hardware device. Now, peripheral hardware is not a software. I'm just likening them together. Peripheral hardware devices add extra functions to the computer, right? Yes, application software too, they add extra functions to the computer. It means that application softwares, they are not compulsory. They are not compulsory to be had on the computer. Without application softwares, the computer will still run effectively. The computer will still run perfectly. It just means that that particular application will not be useful, or you will not be able to use it if you don't install it. We have examples of application software. We have graphics packages. A computer can work effectively without graphics packages, such as CorelDRAW. But when you add CorelDRAW to your computer, it means you can create graphics. When you add word processors like Microsoft Word, it means you can typeset. When you add presentation packages, it means you can use like PowerPoint, it means you can make presentations. The same goes for database packages. It means you can create database with Microsoft Access. If you are an animation expert, it means you can use your Maya desktop if you install Maya desktop. And the multimedia packages such as VLC, you need them. All these packages you can install and uninstall, as opposed to system software that you cannot uninstall anyhow. Most of the system softwares that we have, you can't uninstall them because if you are able to uninstall them, then it will disrupt a lot of things. But with your application software, you can put them there and you can remove them when you don't need them anymore. It doesn't hinder the effectiveness or the functionality of the computer. I'm sure with this now, we have been able to see the difference between the application software and system software. We have seen examples of both. We have known how both functions, and we have known that they are essential to the computer to work effectively. They both are used to communicate with the computer hardware. Thank you for viewing this third episode of ICT Clinic. I will implore us to subscribe to this ICT channel, Benaya Akinlade. You can search for me on Google or you can search for me on YouTube. Like and subscribe to this channel for more videos on ICT Clinic. Once again, thank you.